Today's video is on a rumor on the Final Fantasy series. Like all rumors covered on this channel, it's done purely for the entertainment factor of speculating on if these rumors are true or not. Do not automatically assume any of these rumors to be true, and take them with a grain of salt until officially confirmed. You have been warned. Boy, it really has been a week full of just rumors. Earlier this week, we had rumors regarding the Persona franchise, then we got some pretty strong indication that the Kingdom Hearts TV show might actually be a real thing, and now we are hearing some things about Final Fantasy XVI. That's right, the next major Final Fantasy. I think all these rumors are popping up right now in place of what would normally be E3 rumors, but in either case, this is something that we've all been wondering about for quite some time, as it's been 4 years since Final Fantasy XV first launched, and while Final Fantasy VII Remake is currently serving in its place as the next major Final Fantasy game, at some point or the other they need to move on with the next mainline title. According to the so-called leaker, you guys know how this goes. He claims that during the Summer Game Fest event, which, despite how the name sounds, of course, is a live stream, that there Square Enix will be announcing 2 brand new games for the next generation. One of those games being the new IP that Luminous Studios, the team behind Final Fantasy XV, has been said to be working on. According to the alleged leaker, this is what you can expect from this new Luminous IP. And I'm probably going to butcher the second word in this title, but apparently it's called Crimson Arbitrium, Agni's Anthology, which, quote, is an action JRPG game settled into a huge open world developed with Luminous Engine. The combat is designed to place greater emphasis on elemental spells and how they can be modified by the main character in the environment, transforming them into barriers or long-distance projectiles with significant impacts in environments in which they are left. The spells can also change the appearance and the abilities of the weapons equipped, and of the equipment too, giving different power-ups and changing some of the abilities. The games that inspire the developers in creating this game were Final Fantasy, The Four Heroes of Light, and Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve? Ho ho ho! The game is in development for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and PC. It does not have a final launch date, but it has a launch window set for the fiscal year of 2022. Honestly, that sounds pretty cool. And having Parasite Eve inspiration also doesn't really surprise me, considering that this team worked under Hajime Tabata, and Tabata also directed The Third Birthday, which was a continuation of Parasite Eve's story. And of course, the main big rumor is about Final Fantasy XVI. Here's what they have to say about that. Final Fantasy XVI is an action JRPG with strategic elements, with open world exploration of the game world and macro areas of cities and dungeons within the rich open world itself, in a free exploration of entire continents. The main director of the project is Naoki Yoshida, and the game has a classic fantasy concept, but with steampunk elements, and has a battle system inspired by Dark Souls and Final Fantasy XV, which, The game will also see the return of the job system, which, bet, but in a different key from the classic, and the ability to customize and change the equipment and even the names of the characters. The ability to name your characters, and I assume they'll call them something generic like by their last name or something similar, and having the job system return would be pretty cool, honestly. Though being able to name your characters would kind of worry me, as the characters would seem more like self-inserts than fully developed characters that we've come to expect from the Final Fantasy series. I'm also genuinely not sure how I feel about inspiration from Dark Souls and Final Fantasy XV. After all, Final Fantasy XV's combat had such mixed receptions, and I don't know how I feel about Dark Souls inspired combat in Final Fantasy, and it strikes me in a very weird place considering that Final Fantasy VII Remake did such an excellent job with its combat system, and being probably one of the best modern adaptations of what the classic ATB system was in an action game context, and I was kind of hoping they would stick with something like that. But this still sounds sounds pretty cool regardless. The so-called leak then continues by saying, the project began its development in 2017 with the Unreal Engine 4, and the team haven't decided if they're actually going to convert the game for Unreal Engine 5. The DLCs and expansions for the game are still in the planning phase by the development team, but the top management of the company, they suggest, with a strong will, a games-as-a-service approach with this project, but they have established a preliminary release date for the game, scheduled for the company's fiscal year 2021, with a closing window in the first quarter of 2022, timed exclusive for PlayStation 5. If this rumor does end up being true, it's kind of weird to think that we might actually be just 2 years away from Final Fantasy XVI. In my head, I always kind of thought we were maybe 5 years away from it. But whether this rumor is true or not, Square Enix almost always shows off the next mainline Final Fantasy right next to the next mainline PlayStation hardware. So I feel like they're going to show off Final Fantasy XVI, and you'll probably get a teaser trailer or something like that, maybe a logo, and I think all of that is going to happen regardless of whether or not this rumor is true. With that said though, it's pretty fascinating. So Ultima, I want to hear from you. Do you think this rumor has any weight to it, or does it all just smell like dirty chocobo? Subscribe, click the bell icon, and let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy all these videos on my channel, be sure to check out the Patreon for the Night Sky Prince, where I'm supported by amazing people like Paul Pratt, who help keep all these Final Fantasy and other JRPG videos coming to you. So if that means a lot to you, be sure to check the link in the description below. Shout out to Paul and the rest of the Ultima community.